that time.
Hello for the first time. It's one of those days. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Best of Five, where the first word I said on this recording is already going to get bleeped or cut. So this is going to be a good episode. My name is Elon, and I'm joined here, as always, by the fabulous, wonderful, enigmatic Steve Ace King off Suture.
What was that word?
Enigmatic.
Enigmatic? I've never heard it pronounced as enigmatic.
Well, guess what? I just did it. You're welcome.
You are a bit of a rebel.
Sure be do. Speaking of rebels, thanks for subscribing for 40 months. Not as long as you can be subscribed for. That is the sad truth of that subscription. But anyway. Welcome to another episode of Best of Five. Today on the show, we're going to talk about the Guilty Gear beta. We're going to talk about all the crazy announcements that happened this week that, oddly enough, don't actually include gameplay announcements, but it's more events. We got events coming back. We got some character trailers. We got some news about companies selling companies to make other companies. And we now have a glossary for the FGC that we can look up words to. And I cannot wait to dive into that. But before we get into anything, Steve.
Yes.
Will you hit us with that there recap? There?
I think I might be able to do that there recap.
Hit us up with that there recap.
We had a CPT event this past weekend. It was the Asia East, the first chance for players from South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong to punch their tickets to Capcom Cup. The player who was successful in doing that was NL. Held off fellow countryman Infiltration in the grand final to take the top spot and qualify for Capcom Cup. Gets his first CPT event win in 2.5, nearly 3 years. Combo Breaker 2018 was his last one. So, Good to see NL back in the win column. I'm pretty sure Capcom's kind of happy that he's there. More specifically...
Yep. I can only imagine why, Steve.
Yeah. I'm sure there were a couple people sweating it out in grand final.
Okay. I wanna take a look at some of these other names too before we move on. By the way, GamerB, good to see GamerB up there tying for 5th along with Oil King. We have RB rounding out the top 8. Top 9, Breast Panty Hip.
Very strong player. You always see them in the mix whenever you see online events. Obviously, the name sticks out, but whenever you do see it, yeah, it catches your eye. But it also catches your eye because it's usually in top 8, top 16.
For sure. Yeah. Wow, dude. There are a couple names here that I haven't thought about in a while. Look at that, Punko hanging in there for top 9.
The return, Human Bomb. Good to see him
Bomb.
In the mix.
Is he still playing Sakura?
I did not catch anything this weekend in person because it's overnight.
Yeah.
I have this thing called sleep.
Yeah,
which I like doing. And I was actually I felt ill on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So that did pretty much eliminated my chance to go back and catch up on top 16 action. But we will get another chance to see NL. NL is qualified for Capcom Cup. The next chance for these players to get, will be back in November. So, obviously there's a lot that can change. Yeah, a lot can change in 6 months. But you gotta believe Infiltration's going to be in the mix. You gotta believe that Punko has a good chance of getting back in there. Um, so don't be surprised to see a lot of these names back on that results screen when we bring it up in November.
For sure. Man, it's so cool to see fighting games doing stuff again. I missed it.
It feels like, and especially this week coming up, which we'll get into with what to watch, because now we've got one of the signature events back on the calendar.
What's that?
That is going to be Red Bull Kumite, taking place in London this year. We've talked about it a few times in the build-up, but it's this weekend. Remember, Saturday is the exhibition. It's going to be the showcase for Guilty Gear Strive. They announced a few exhibitions for the showcase, and let me go through. Shanks versus Wawa is one of them. Alioun versus Ken Deep, a pretty strong player out of Germany. And then Ogawa versus Samito. Yeah, I can talk, I swear.
Wait. Gawa versus Samito? In
Yeah.
Guilty
Strive.
Gear?
Yeah.
Strive?
Yeah.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the Ogawa Washige run back.
God.
Hit my head.
Why? Why do you have to do this?
Look, man.
Has he not suffered enough? He was on Sports Center. He was on Sports Center, and he got called Woshiji.
Yeah, that's right. Oshiji. Oh,
Which,
man.
by the way, give him props for at least trying the name.
For sure.
No one knows how to pronounce Japanese names unless you do it on a semi-regular basis. So
Yeah.
no,
For sure.
no hate there, but come on, let Woshige have a break.
Has he not
he's
had a
moved
break?
on. He's moved on. He's in a different game now.
Oh, that's right. Is he still working on Street Fighter 5?
I thought so.
Is he still the battle director? I haven't kept up, so I don't know. That was a genuine question. Steve, we have Red Bull Kumite. We have Strive. We have a bunch of stuff. Do we have anything else coming up?
We do. We've got the final event of the Mortal Kombat Pro League before the regional finals. So this is the last event for North America. That will take place on Mortal Kombat's channel on Saturday and Sunday. If you want to catch some Latin American Street Fighter action, South America West CPT event is this weekend as well. That will be on the Capcom Fighters channel. And Monday, there should be another episode of Sets. They have not announced participants as of yet. And speaking of participants, we should probably get into Red Bull Kumite.
Oh.
Because we thought we had the list of players, but there is going to be one last-minute change. Oil King was previously announced as a competitor. Unfortunately, Red Bull announced earlier today that he will not be able, or announced yesterday, excuse me, that Oil King will not be able to make it into the UK. They did not disclose any reason for it, but Red Bull did say that they've got a suitable replacement lined up. So,
Suitable, huh?
Suitable. Yes.
Suitable. Well, can't wait to hear who that is, and it's unfortunate, man. That's one of those things where if traveling was tough before, can't even imagine traveling now due to the state of the world.
It's
frustrating,
even when you're talking about 16, getting 16 players to show up, that's a challenge. To do it even once. Obviously, WePlay had to deal with that for 3 different games over 3 weeks. And they ran into some issues, particularly with Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, especially right now, because the UK is updating their list of countries that are on the red list, the amber list, the green list. And that this is not to say that Oil King's absence is specifically related to COVID-19 or anything related to that. We don't know. It has not been disclosed, so frankly, not necessarily our business.
Word.
But uh, so yeah, the even though we're only talking about 16 players, the the logistics of doing that for players all over the world in a situation that's changing by the day, even now, is still a very tall task.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Now, here's the thing, Steve. Uh, as unfortunate as it is for Oil King, we're lucky that Red Bull. Well, and it sucks, right? Because that was supposed to be Oil King's first outing as a Red Bull member, right?
Yes.
That's super unfortunate. So sorry to hear that, but good to know that Red Bull has it under control and they have a replacement. But in there, you talked about how they did this for WePlay, and I see that after all the tumultuous shenanigans that happened surrounding WePlay, it looks like what are they doing now? I know you saw something from them since the day.
Yeah, so WePlay actually tweeted out earlier today. If you'll remember, a couple weeks ago, both Bandai Namco and NetherRealm Studios, the two companies that between them provided all three games that made up the season one lineup for the WePlay Ultimate Fighting League, announced that they would not allow their games in future WePlay events. Obviously, WePlay put out a statement saying that they were looking forward to working with these companies to figure out what was going wrong, or any feedback they could get, but got no response. And uh, although it has been unconfirmed, the belief, the widely speculated belief, is due to WePlay's association with controversial gaming company 1xBet as one of its primary sponsors. Earlier, just a few hours ago, the WePlay account tweeted for the first time since then, in nearly 3 weeks, and they say, quote, look back on all the amazing events of WePlay Ultimate Fighting League Season 1 with our official after movie. We miss the community so much and can't wait to bring you the next season. Despite what lies ahead, always remember, fall 7 times and stand up 8. See you soon, friends, end quote. And it includes a little recap video of Season 1, which I'm going to throw a link to in chat. So there we go. So the important takeaway is that they at least in this early stage, they are still talking about running a second season.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what games would be on there? Because all due respect, I don't know if you can all due respect to the French bread community, I don't know if Under Night is necessarily going to be a game that you can lead with. Because obviously the big one is Street Fighter that's out there, but if Bandai Namco and NetherRealm are unwilling to work with WePlay for whatever reason, it seems unlikely that Capcom would step in and say, yeah, let me get in on that. So that takes Street Fighter off the table. What else is out there that draws in big numbers when we talk tournaments?
Well, here's the thing. It's I hate to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm really bad at that.
That's okay.
I wish we were in person so you could just slap me.
No violence. I am a non-violent person.
Yeah, you play fighting games.
Non-violent.
Yeah, you play fighting games. So I don't think it's a question of who's going to be on the thing. I think it's a question of, will WePlay part ways with the shady company so that developers will work with them again? If that's the problem, right? That's the thing. We still don't know what the problem was, but we're assuming that this is the problem because this is a pretty big problem.
Well, keep in mind that if that is the if that is the issue, excuse me, not everyone sees it as an issue because 1xBet is not some small little rinky-dink company. They're the title sponsor of Serie A, the Italian soccer league, one of the biggest leagues in the world. They're associated with a whole bunch of other soccer leagues and other sports leagues throughout Europe and throughout the world. So the idea that they're good enough for that, but not necessarily good enough for the FGC, it's entirely possible that that could be the issue, but there might be something else going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and
so, but we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. Everything's just speculation until someone comes out and says, "Hey, it's because of X, Y, and Z."
For sure. So the events were cool. I hope to see them again, but I hope whatever is the issue gets resolved so that we can come back to having some fun, right? Speaking of companies doing company things, I want to talk briefly about the AT&T and Discovery shenanigans because, believe it or not, that does impact us in the FGC. Now, let's do one of these here. So, for those of you that don't know, AT&T, who owns Warner Brothers, recently sold a bunch of, like a very, very large part of Warner Media to Discovery for around $43 billion and some sustained debt. So, what does that mean? That means things like HBO, sports and news coverage, all are and all Discovery shows that including all the Discovery Plus streaming services, are all now under one giant media streaming umbrella. And they're trying to the whole reason they're doing this is to try to compete with the Netflixes and the Disney Pluses. However, one thing has kind of been left in the open where not a lot is known about what's happening, but something is happening. And that is WB Games. For those of you that don't know, WB Games is a game publisher that includes things like Rocksteady, the Lego games. They recently patented the Nemesis system that was used in Shadow of War, the Middle-earth games. And one little company known as NetherRealm Studios is also in WB Games. According to a couple of sources on Twitter, this is all unverified, it looks like WB Games is getting split up. What does this mean? Nobody knows. We just know that WB Games is getting split up. How that's going to impact how that's going to impact current projects and future projects, nobody knows. We don't know who's going to Discovery. We don't know who's staying at AT&T. Nobody knows nothing. All we do know is that something is going down. NRS seems to be in the middle of it. And until we have some more information, we're kind of left in the dark. But I really hope that this doesn't impact, Papa Ed Boon and friend of the show, Paco Stevens, who works so diligently to make amazing games for us here in the FGC. So, turbulent times are ahead of us, my friends.
So obviously there's a lot up in the air with that deal. My big takeaway is that we finally get the crossover that we all need between Last Week Tonight and Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Ugh.
Can we please see Guy Fieri hosting that show? I would love it. I want my news to be taken to Flavor Town. Please make that happen. It is possible. It is likely. Please make that happen.
Last Week's Diners. That's what it's going to be called. That's the John Oliver cross Guy Fieri project. But yeah, so that's a thing that's happening, and we can do nothing but keep our eyes out. And it's one of those things where, unfortunately, with the way things are going, is there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of assumptions being thrown out, but not a lot of like actual tangible, solid, fact-based evidence of what's happening. So, keep your eyes peeled. Let's hope that things don't get affected too much. And you know what's funny, too? Another company that's in that mix that I don't think I would ever have thought would be in that mix is Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth is also, like, kind of in the giant middle of this crazy merger. So, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's streaming will reign supreme? Tried to make an Iron Chef joke. It didn't work out. But yeah, things to look for in the future. Any more thoughts on this AT&T Discovery shenanigans, Steve?
Guy Fieri, make it happen, please. Please.
Do you think we're gonna see maybe like Giada De Laurentiis cooking Mortal Kombat themed treats?
That would be something. That would be appointment viewing.
Bobby Flay cooking up some food for Shang Tsung? Huh?
Oh, God.
Eat Bobby Flay starring Scorpion.
Now I'm imagining an episode of Cutthroat Kitchen that is Mortal Kombat themed.
Oh no.
And one of the sabotages is that you can make two of your competitors cook as Goro, i.e., one stands in front of the other, and like it's this four-armed beast.
Yeah, they do the ghost thing.
Yeah, it's please. We do actually have a little bit more Mortal Kombat news.
Yeah, we do. Go for it, Steve.
So there were hints about a potential upcoming Twitch Rivals event. We heard the sound clip from Mortal Kombat. They tweeted out a picture of ketchup and mustard, reference to a couple of the characters in game, as well as two popular commentators for the game. And we got confirmation last Wednesday that Maximilian is hosting MKX Lives.
Whoa.
Not Mortal Kombat 11.
Whoa. That's crazy. So this is the second of the Twitch Rivals Cross Maximilian tournaments, right? So we had the Marvel 3 Lives. Yes. Now we have MKX Lives. I think this is dope. This is really cool. I almost said the F word there. You're welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
I think this is absolutely amazing. Oh, yeah, he did KI Lives, too. So, man. And the cool thing is they either had or are having a qualifier, if I'm not mistaken, for MKX.
Yes, and I just linked it in the chat. This is it's going to be run through the Coliseum, which is an online series that is run by Mr. Aquaman. That's been going on since the before times, long ago. We've been in this for a little over a year, and yet it feels so long.
Yep.
So much longer. But yes, if you want to get a chance to get in the field, show that you've still got what it takes in MKX, you can enter the qualifier. Qualifier is on Saturday, and then the finals will actually be Monday on Max's uh, on Max's Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Maximilian underscore DOOD.
Dude.
Dude.
Dude. What's up, dude?
Dude.
Man, it's so cool. So this is a great example of someone putting together some stuff about the games they love and getting a ridiculously amount of really good feedback, right? Like we saw Maximilian do partner up with Twitch and do Ultimate Marvel, which was amazing. It was super fun to watch. We saw KI, which was amazing and super fun to watch. And now we're seeing MKX. All three of those games we know that Max adores because, Marvel 3 was, of course, his Assist Me series. KI, he loved the game enough and wound up working in the game and developing the game. MKX, he also did an Assist Me series with, which was crazy. Some of the production value for his stuff is amazing. So, such a good example of someone kind of showcasing that just because certain games are not in the major radar, as if you will, they're not Evo Sunday top 8 games, doesn't mean that there's not a ridiculously amazing community behind it. So, big ups to Maximilian and all the crazy stuff he's doing, man. I cannot wait to watch this one as well.
As long as you've got two people who want to play, game is not dead. So
Do games
MKX.
ever die?
No.
I can
Games
go
don't
buy.
die.
I can go buy a copy of Star Wars Master of Terras Kasi right now.
You could, but I mean that would be
No
like
game
me
ever
saying,
dies.
That would be like me saying I could drink a bottle of apple cider vinegar straight up. I could. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I could.
Oh, never mind. Don't have it. Good joke. I was gonna
Where'd
do
you
a joke
go?
that I have a copy of Soul Calibur 3 somewhere, and apparently that's the most hated one. But I don't have it with me. Never mind. I was gonna do a joke. Sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. Just this once, though.
We'll make it happen soon.
Oh man.
I cannot wait to see the shenanigans unfold. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Steve, speaking of other things that can't wait, apparently people cannot wait for Climax of Night.
Yes. So we talked about Climax of Night a little bit last week.
Mm-hmm.
Between or a couple days after we talked about it, Climax of Night actually opened up registration. And then shortly after that, Climax of Night closed registration because
When did they
they hit their player cap in about 12 hours.
Yep.
They initially allowed 350 people to sign up, and they hit that. Like it opened at 11 at midnight Eastern, uh, 11 p.m. Central, and it was. I checked the next morning. It was like 75% full by 6 a.m. the next day. So they hit their cap. Shinobi, who's the lead organizer, said that they were considering a raising the cap. And they have decided to do so.
Steve, we have the announcement.
We do. Quote. So the big thing is the player caps for Uni and Melty individually have been raised. There are going to be 60 competitor passes put up for registration on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So those of you who are watching live on Twitch, about 48 hours after we wind up the show. Those of you who are listening on Spotify or YouTube, about 12 hours after we go live on those platforms.
And if you're listening to this a week after, I'm sorry to tell you from the past that you've missed it. Sorry.
So if you do miss it, there is going to be a waiting list. So if you're not able to register this time, or if you're not one of the lucky ones to get one of those 60 passes, you'll still have a shot to get in. Should someone else decide, I'm not going to do it. But yeah, it just shows you the hunger that's out there in the Melty community, in all those communities, Uni, all those games.
Man, you know what's super
12
bittersweet?
hours. 12 hours.
You know what's super bittersweet about all this? Sorry, I thought you were going to ask what.
What?
Well, first of all, I feel like at this point, everybody's tired of having to like queue up for something and then it being gone in 12 hours and you not getting it, i.e. like PlayStation 5s, Xboxes, shoes, most importantly, vaccines. The other thing that I read, and like I just got this, I don't know what it is, but I just got this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I don't know, it's not negative. It's not a negative feeling, but it's something that like is just in there. And it was when I read that bottom line about having a reservation link for a room block next week, double beds, $135 a night. I don't know what it is, but reading that made me feel some type of way, and I don't know what way that is.
I miss having to figure out room situations. Okay, let me ask you this, and I want to know in chat too, those of you who've gone to events, who go to events, were you the person who booked the room yourself and then tried to figure out who was going to room with you later? Or were you the person who just signed up and then asked around to see if anybody's got a spot on the floor?
Steve, you know the answer to this.
I know because we tried to book for
Combo
CB
Breaker.
2020.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've been on both ends, right? Like, I remember EVO 2016, we fit about 5 people in a room. Unheard of nowadays. I would never do that again. Especially with the way the world is right now. Never again. Trying to think, like, what else? I remember traveling to Final Round 2016, the year, like, the first Final Round was Street Fighter V and fitting 6 people in a room. Texas Shodown fitting, like, 4 or 5 people in a room. And then a bunch of people came to play, and it's like, trying to sleep over here. So I've been on both sides of the aisle, and they're both are fun in their own way. Let's say both of them have their ups and downs.
I have been on both ends as well. Like the first year I went to UFGT, even before Combo Breaker, it was like my first major, first tournament that I traveled for. So I booked a room for my own self. Like, I don't want to share. And then as we got closer and closer to the event, I was thinking like, financially it'd be cool if I could share this. And then it ended up like a few Smash players were looking for a room. So, it. God dang it. I'm going to have to beat myself.
Got him.
No!
Got him.
But the last time I went, I actually couldn't book right away. I couldn't register right away, and the room sold out instantly. But I was lucky enough to get in with like a few of the other elder statesmen of the Twin Cities. We were literally drinking old fashions.
Nice.
We were like lounging. We got in. We made our Target run, so we got like bananas, and we thought about this. We had plans. We were not flying by the seat of our pants. And then we lounged, and they were drinking old fashions. That tells you these were not like 21, 22-year-old guys. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Hey, man, ain't
We're
nothing
on
wrong
the
with an old fashioned, you know?
there's a spectrum of ages of people who go to these events, and I think that was the moment that I realized I was a lot closer to this side than I was to this side.
Man. Ugh. Booking hotels again. I don't know. I mean, look. I think there's something fun about going to a hotel. Always, right? Like, you get unlimited hot water you don't need to worry about. You get to be somewhere new. You get to hang out. I think the only place I've ever like got a hotel for myself was, I think it was Texas Showdown 2017, where I booked the room and I was like, screw you. I'm gonna say it again. Screw you. This is mine. Everybody go away. And I had a good time. I mean, it wasn't as like rambunctious as every other year where I shared a room, but you know, it has its ups and downs. It has its ups and downs.
Yeah,
But yeah.
The tough part is when your room becomes the money match room.
Yep. Yep.
Because I don't know if I've talked about this on the show before, but one of the years I went to Combo Breaker, I think it was the last year before they became a CPT event. And I ended up rooming with a few other Minnesota guys, including Kangaroo, who was one of the stronger players and actually ended up making top 8 that year. So afterwards, you know, I was tired, you know, because I'm tired. I love going to events, but it is very draining. But I get back to the room, and it's the money match room. Justin's in there, Ricky's in there, a couple other people trying to get matches with Christian, with Kangaroo there. I ended up going to bed at like 2:30 after making a 1 a.m. McDonald's run because I was still hungry. Walking like half an hour to the McDonald's that's like a mile and a half from the venue. But yeah, it's kind of cool just trying to go to bed and you got 6 people, some of you whom you may not know, at the edge of the bed trying to get $100. It's an experience that I would not trade for anything else.
Yeah. You know what I kind of am hoping makes a comeback? I really hope this makes a comeback. Salty sweets. I want salty sweets to come back. And here's why. The after parties are cool, right? Everybody goes to a bar, there's a setup, and there's people playing, whatever, there's exhibitions, blah, 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 whatever. I miss, like, the complete chaos of a salty sweet, where it's like, they set up a stream station, bedrooms just door open, everybody's filing in and out, whatever kind of money match happens. I really miss, like, just watching a stream and being like, oh, Daigo versus Gamer Bees happening on NYC Furby's hotel room after the tournament. Sick. Right?
The best part of those is like the players you don't necessarily know about.
Right.
Like the Kangaroos, the people who they travel with, no. But the rest of the world doesn't. I love seeing those players get a chance to do something. So, man. And you know, obviously it can happen in tournament, but
yeah,
when there's money on the line, when it's a long set, it's a different story. And I love seeing those things. So yeah, please
That was the first time at a Salty Seat was the first time I met Ice. I don't know if you remember Ice, the Bison player in Street Fighter V, who used to be from Arkansas, moved to Austin. And then him and I, along with a couple of buddies here in Austin, we used to travel for the Red Bull events in Houston. But that was the first time I met him, was at Panda's Salty Suite at Absolute Battle. Oh, man, so much fun. I miss that stuff. I hope that comes back. And you know, it's funny. I was saying, like, I'll never share a room with 5 people again, yet I'm talking about cramming, like, 10 people into a bedroom with a stream setup.
It's kind of like, you know, you go to that restaurant that you don't see that you go, like, once a year, like, I haven't been here for a while, wonder why. And then you have it, like, oh, yeah, that's why.
Man. I can't wait for this to come back.
You know, speaking of events coming back, we got another one. And sorry for my phone ringing.
Oh my God, Steve, are you a rookie?
I am a rookie. I shun myself. Steve, you are shunned. You are shunned.
Okay, so since you're shunning yourself, let me go ahead and set this up. It was announced today. We got a very crazy announcement. And that is that another tournament is coming back, except this one is taking place in December in the grand old city of Orlando. That's right. CEO 2021. Oh, hold on one second. We're getting view botted, guys, by 2 people. Let me just go ahead and take care of this while we're doing all these. There we go. Sick. I don't know if that's necessarily view botting, but whatever. I don't like it. Anyway, CEO 2021 coming December 3rd through 5th in Orlando. Stay tuned for more details. It's a big announcement.
Yeah, well, I mean, this has been in the works for a while. Jabali, who is the lead organizer of CEO, floated the idea publicly of not running their typical June event again this year. They obviously canceled last year's main CEO event, canceled last year's CEO Taku, which is typically in the fall. Dreamland, which is their Smash themed event, was one of the last events to run. And I still remember him on Twitter basically begging for someone to shut him down and say, no, you can't run, but no one did. So he had to run. But in talking about plans for this year on social media, he did float the idea of not running this or not running the traditional June event, and in its place running an event in December to sort of take the place of CEO Taku. And then following that, going into 2022, returning to the regular schedule. We now have confirmation of that. We now have dates. First weekend of December in Orlando. Who are we seeing there?
Everybody. I have a feeling it's going to be another one. Look, if people sold out Climax of Night in 12 hours, and this isn't me throwing shade at Climax of Night, but if Climax of Night sold out in 12 hours with like a very specific target audience, I can't even imagine what's going to happen with CEO registration.
And we're talking about, December. Average temperature, average temperature, 75 degrees in December. In
Orlando?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You want to know what the average temperature in Minneapolis is in December?
What's it, like negative 23,000?
It's 29.
Oh, 29.
God, it feels like it some days. 29. Below freezing. That is looking very, very tempting. Just regardless of whatever games they run. Obviously, Obviously, you got to believe Street Fighter, you got to believe Tekken, you got to believe Strive. But who knows how many people they're going to run? If I remember correctly, this is going to be their classic venue,
At the Wyndham?
the Wyndham. Yes. So, not necessarily a 5,000 seater.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see. And like you said, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly if there is a cap, because we're talking about an event that's 7 months out, and
Only
as
7
hard
months?
as as hard as it is to imagine now, it could very well be a situation where all restrictions are off, especially Florida, which has been sort of at the forefront in that regard, for better or for worse. Um, so we may not have caps. We may have a whole bunch of people together, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Details to come later, but CEO in some form is happening.
All right, chat, I want to know. Give me a block or grab in the chat. Are you going? Give me a block. No, I mean a grab. Sorry. You going? Give me a grab. You not going? Give me a block. You happy about it? What's going on? Honestly, Steve, like you said, December 3rd, very attractive offer for a tiny vacation. Very, very attractive offer. I'm debating on it, to be honest. And I haven't traveled for tournaments. And, man, you know what's funny? I don't know if I said this on the show or not, but 2020, I had planned to start traveling for tournaments again. And then 2020 shut down. I'm kind of hesitant to say I want to travel to these, because I don't want things to shut down again, because I caused it, obviously. So, looking forward to hopefully going out and hanging out with everybody again. Preferably everybody wearing masks. If not, I'll wear my mask.
So,
Cool. Ooh.
yeah, that's where we're at.
It makes my heart beat a little bit quicker that events are coming back. I'm gonna hate it when it's like, oh, book a hotel room. Try to get everything organized again, like we were saying earlier. But still, part of me can't even believe that we're at this point. So I'm excited.
And on top of that, we're talking about events sort of in, Climax of Night is in November.
Mm-hmm.
This will be in December. What other major events typically happen in December? Not including like the Capcom Cup, World Tour Circuit events.
The
What
NEC?
what FGC? Yes, NEC. And just a few hours ago, Big E, Eric Small, the lead organizer of Big E Gaming, the team that does NEC and all of those other Philly area major events, he tweeted out NEC will still happen.
What's his
So that's
tag? Big.
that is E Small Philly. So I will link that in the chat. But yeah.
Oh snap! Look at this. And then bam! Look at that. That is a very, very good thing to hear. Man, NEC coming back. I'm excited. NEC was my last tournament when I lived in the East Coast. I miss NEC. I miss a lot of things. Pandemic's been tough.
It's in so many ways, yeah.
Dude, you know what? You know what's actually all right. I want to place a bet with everybody in the chat here. Over under. As in yes or no. Will Capcom Cup screw over NEC again by having it on the same weekend this year, like they have in the past 3 years before?
I am going to say no, because NEC typically happens in December. And we already know Capcom has said that they plan on having Capcom Cup 8 in early 2022. So, on paper, there should be no conflict.
Okay.
I hope there's no conflict. It would just be his luck.
I believes it when I sees it.
Like, Capcom announces, due to unforeseen circumstances, we're going to have to move this to December. Eric, I'm sorry. Yeah, love you, man. It's just business. That would just be so mean. That
Oh
would be
man,
so mean.
I hope that does not happen.
They actually have. I will say, in all seriousness, they actually have CPT qualifiers going through January. So there really isn't a way for them to move it up.
Yeah.
So
Here's
thankfully, here's hoping. And then we'll see how 2022 goes with the 2022 campaign. But yeah, NEC coming back, CEO coming back, Climax of Night sold
on its
out.
way.
Um,
I cannot wait. I'm excited, Steve. The world is coming back in before somebody clips this and then like something gets shut down again. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to will that in the world. Let's forget I just said that. Okay. Super fun. Lots of big announcements. Steve, we have more announcements.
we do. Do we want to talk about Sam Show?
Yes. Let's start with Sam Show and then we'll work our way through the rest of the announcements. Do you want to lead this one off?
Sure. So Sam Show, if you are a PC player, this is your opportunity because this week Samurai Shodown announced that they are coming to Steam. It's been on, was it not
Epic
Green
Game
Man
Store?
Gaming, but Epic Game Store? Excuse me. Yes, it was on Epic Game Store. It was on Stadia, which I don't know if there needs to be a punchline there with that. But
No, Stadia has negative latency. It's perfect.
they got they put the precogs to use. I am making Minority Report references tonight. But yes, this was part of a two-part announcement. So Sam Show is coming to Steam on June 14th, as well as the third character. They also announced that Shiro Amakusa will be the third character, the third DLC character for Sam Show, and they'll be out on the 14th as well. So a double dip of updates there. That does leave one more spot in this season pass, and that is going to be the Guilty Gear character.
I want to pull up first. I don't think I'm. Never mind. Anyway, you remember that one song by Michael Jackson called "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough"?
Yes.
When I read,
I always thought. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. What did you always think?
I was gonna say, I thought for the longest time, the lyrics were, "Come on, we're the post office. Don't stop till you get enough."
We're the post office. Okay, I see how that could work. That's hilarious, though. Just want you to know that's really funny.
I am turning in my cool card.
Well, look, I just want to point out. Wait, is this? Hold on. Wait. Nope, never mind. I just want to point out. You know the breakdown of that song? Where they're like, "Mama
Yes.
say, mama say, mama gusta, mama say, mama." I literally thought that was this dude's name. It was that breakdown. Anyway, it was a long way to get to that punchline, so I'm gonna go ahead and forget that I said it.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Anywho, yeah. So for those of you that were hoping to play Sam Show on the PC but are too stubborn to get into the Epic Game Store, it's now on Steam. Congratulations. It's me giving you a clap. Not the clap, a clap. All right.
Oh, Why? Why would you even put
Onward,
that thought into existence?
forward we go. Next, let's take a look at this trailer. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Wait, did I click the wrong button? No, I did not. Oh, it's Leona.
You don't really expect Leona to not be in the game. So it's not that this is unwelcome or anything like that. It just sort of like, okay, cool. That's nice to see, sure. Yeah. Sort of like you don't expect Terry to not be there. You don't expect Leona to not be there. So it's not exactly an announcement that's going to set the world on fire, and that's sort of the risk you do when you're doing this one release per week, one character reveal per week. Um, overall, it's a good way to keep people interested because there's always that drip of information, but you've got to find that balance between, okay, we've got X number of new characters, we've got X number of returning characters. How do we mix that in so that we're constantly providing excitement to our fans? I think of Nagoriyuki in Strive, where we saw him we saw him briefly in that initial trailer, and then we didn't know about he was in our thoughts, but we didn't really see him until much later.
Yeah, he was like the third to last person announced, right? Or like that they showed the trailer for.
I think I forget if I don't think it was the hard drive. Was it the option select? I'm pretty sure it was the option select. They had an amazing article. Arc System Works announces delaying Guilty Gear Strive because they forgot the character from the trailer.
It's hilarious.
By the way, if you're not following the option select, definitely follow them. They are, mwah. I cannot give them enough chef's kisses.
Yeah, they're basically like the Onion version of the, or they're the FGC version of the Onion, if I'm not mistaken. So big ups to them. But still getting more KOF stuff. We don't have like any semblance of a release date for KOF 15, do we?
Still 2021.
Okay.
As far that is the last update. No, it hasn't been narrowed down as of yet.
Okay. All right. So, since we were talking about a little bit about Guilty Gear during this announcement for KOF 15, I wanted to talk about something that I don't think kind of made the spotlight too much about Guilty Gear. There was some happenings around Guilty Gear today, and through these last couple weeks. And that is, first of all, Strive has an English dub. And if I recall, Xrd did not. So this is the first time in a hot minute that we're seeing Guilty Gear in English. Now,
That's
back
blazing.
What's up?
That's pretty blazing.
It is pretty blazing. Sign had a dub? That's impossible. Oh, maybe Revelator didn't have it. Anyway. It's been a hot minute since we've heard Guilty Gear in English is all I mean. In dub. Way back when, Erin Fitzgerald, who you might know as the voice of Naz in Ed, Edd n Eddy. She's also in Sailor Moon. And many, many other things we've seen and played. Was announced as the person who was going to be voicing Ramlethal. However, recently, big announcement from the person who is voicing Ramlethal was this. Laura Stahl is going to be voicing Ramlethal. And everybody's wondering what happened. Now, first of all, Laura Stahl has her voice in Genshin Impact, Phantasy Star Online, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, right? However, after asked, Erin Fitzgerald said something along the lines of, character is black, I'm not, so I'm giving the opportunity to someone who is. Letting black women take the mic so that we have more diversity in voice casting. And I think that is something that is very admirable, and it's something very important, right? Because I feel like a lot of people tout the whole diversity thing, but then when it comes time to actually put up or shut up, everybody just shuts up. So this is, I think, the first time I've seen a good representation of someone actually taking that stuff seriously.
We've seen this before in a couple other bits of media. I the one that pops up to mind is Family Guy with Cleveland, who was historically announced or voiced by a white guy. This is one of those things that is I have so many mixed feelings on it because representation is such an important thing for people in any industry, especially entertainment, because it shapes so much of, consciously or subconsciously, it shapes a lot of what people like, what people believe, what people are into. And it's very hard for me to put my thoughts into words on this. This isn't necessarily the big win for me that it is for some other people, but that's okay. You know, um, I hope we get to a point where the the issue here, that, as far as I see, is voices should be based on voices. It's acting, and it is possible for a character who presents as black or who is black. Maybe an actor who isn't necessarily black might be the best possible match for that. Their voice might be the best possible match for that character. On the flip side, there might be characters who present as white or are presented as white, and a non-white voice actor might be the best fit for that character. I want to get to a world where those decisions are made and nobody has to think about it because everybody in the industry has equal opportunity at every step of the way, and then we can truly think about simply the best. We don't have to worry about representation because representation will just happen, but we're not there yet. So this is, I'm glad that someone is doing this. I'm not exactly heartbroken to see one voice actor over another in this case. I think they're both fantastic. But yeah, there are so many other issues at play here that we don't have nearly enough time to get into. So TLDR, it's complicated.
Okay, we won't talk about it no more.
My
kidding.
thoughts are so incoherent when it comes to that sort of thing. But yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing to add. My white passing ass doesn't
Your
think about
thoughts
this
are
as much.
not unimportant.
Well, no, but I also, I don't know. It's one of those things where I see it and I'm like, hey, that person's doing it. But then another part of me is like, why would they parade that around? Although Erin, to her credit, did not like shout to the world like, I'm letting this person have it. So I don't know. There's a cynical part of me that thinks some of it's just theatrical, but there's the more logical side of me that knows it's not. So anyway, anywho, let's move on.
So
Because
let's talk about other things,
Yes.
other Guilty Gear things this weekend
Oh,
because
that's right.
there was a beta.
Mm-hmm.
I was not, like I said, I got sick. I fell ill this weekend, so I was not able to get my hands on it. But did you get your hands on it?
I did.
What did you think? What were your thoughts on it?
I think I have a unique opinion on Guilty Gear, and here's why. My character did not change at all. I played Giovanna, and she is the same as she was in Beta 1. For the most part, I think maybe I noticed like very small bits and pieces here and there that got changed. And I played it all on Friday. Friday, I spent the entire day playing it. I got to the Celestial Floor. I became a true VIP player, right? I was kicking people out of the Celestial Floor, and let me tell you, that feels special. Seeing some fresh face come up to the Celestial Floor, being like, oh, I made it. Get down to the floor 10. And I don't know if you heard, but in previous betas, there was one person going around in floor 10 of the Tokyo Tower. Someone who terrorized all the influencers on Influencer Day, who dared enter Tokyo Tower, floor number 10, and it was someone going by the name of Little Bussy Man. Of course, later we found out it was played by Majin Obama, and it was hilarious. To this day, I still think my favorite thing I've ever heard on a stream anywhere is not on Influencer Day, as Majin Obama said. But anyway, I think I felt a little bit of that, where it's like, hey, I belong here and you don't. Probably shouldn't have said that immediately following the segment about talking about people of color. So I'll take that one. I'll take that one on the chin. There's Fugu, Doc Fugu. Thank you for the subscription, getting me out of that train of thought. Thank you. I appreciate you. He says, Little Bussy Man, Juna told me nobody knows who he is. It is mysterious, right? But anyway, thoughts on the beta. Sorry for the big tangent there. Thoughts on the beta. The lobby system, still not great. Still very janky. Instead of it being a free-for-all, they have actual stations set up, so it does help organize things a little bit better. But it's still that same delay-based shenanigans that hurts to go through. And sometimes matches work, or like sometimes the actual matching up works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little bit frustrating. Now, other people who don't main Giovanna have had an issue with the direction that Guilty Gear is going. And that is, it seems like it almost seems so tangential to the change between Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. And I said this earlier, like when Strive was first announced. It really is so similar to the differences between Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 4. Because people find some fun stuff and it seemingly gets taken away. Right? People find some crazy mix-ups and it seemingly gets taken away. So a lot of people are having a hard time, especially playing these betas and how they're changing, because it feels like the game is just getting so condensed into a quote-unquote accessible game that a lot of people are getting frustrated because it seems like there's going to be no longevity to it. It seems like there's going to be, even if there is a little bit of depth, it feels like it's going to be one of those where we play it for a couple months and then that's it. And that worries me a lot. And to a degree, I kind of do agree with people who are saying that. And it's one of those things where we don't know what the full game is going to be, but we're less than a month out from full release. And where release was already supposed to have happened. So a big part of me doesn't think that a lot's going to change from this beta balance-wise. However, who knows what's going to happen next month? You know?
Balance-wise, I think is less of an issue. I think the lobby experience is so important, especially, it's important because it's part of the experience of playing online. You gotta go through that in order to play games. And if that is a hassle, I'm afraid of people just saying no, it pushing people away. Maybe not that in and of itself, but that might be the straw that breaks the camel's back for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. you got to believe, like you said, we're a month out. I don't think that we're going to see many changes. Balance stuff can always, there's always going to be patches. There's always going to be updates. That's going to change. You know, it might not be at between now and launch, but what we get at launch isn't necessarily what we're going to have at you know, a year
At
from now.
CEO.
Right, at CEO, at Climax of Night. But well, obviously Climax isn't running it, but there might be some side tournament action going on. But that online experience is so important at any point. It's especially important now when, for at least the first few months of the game's life, you're not going to have major offline events. So most people, their experience is going to be limited to playing online. That is going to be how they connect with the game. And if the basically the front door of that experience is as rough as it has been, that's a concern. I'm not so concerned about the other gameplay aspects. I think it's going to be a hit with some people who might not pick up Strive. I don't think it's going to push as many people away as some people fear. There will be some who are pushed away, but I think there will be enough depth there at the end of the day to keep most people entertained, keep most people interested. That lobby really worries me.
Mm-hmm. However, I do want to point out something. The lobby for ranked games does tend to get a little frustrating. Why? You up for a game, you get a match, you play one game. They find in this iteration of Guilty Gear for this beta, they added a rematch button, which is unbelievably quick. Right? You finish the match, you hit rematch, bam, you're in the game. However, in ranked mode, in the floors, right, after playing a match, the other person might have gotten demoted. See, back to the lobby. Here we go again. After two, and it's 3 games, right? And I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if it's first to 3 or not. I think it's just 3 games, period. At any point, ranks change. You get kicked out, go back to the lobby. However, one thing, and Juna pointed this out, so I'm happy that I have the same thoughts that he did. In the park, which is the casual side of things, the games per minute that you get is unbelievably quick. You can sit and play a set with someone for hours and hours, and it will feel like 30 minutes have gone by because of how fast the game loads back up. That, I think, is like kind of a huge draw to this game, is that you can just go to the park, you can sit there with someone, you can play for 2 hours and quite possibly nonstop. No loading in the games, no getting kicked back into the lobby, just rematch, go, grind. I think that's super important, and I think that's super fun, right? Because it's one of those things where everything is so fresh in your mind by the time you get back into the game, it's almost like you're just playing one continuous game. And that's, I think, an experience that we haven't had in a hot minute, right? Because look at something like Street Fighter V. Yes, when you click rematch, the game loads quickly. However, go through the windscreen, you have to load into the windscreen. You have to load into the the rematch button after people click rematch. Then you get back into it. With this, it's like as the character outro is playing, you're getting all the information and you're getting the rematch button. So it's so quick. It is so quick. And I think that's super important. At least to me, that's extremely important because it makes it feel like you're actually grinding and you're it feels productive. It doesn't feel like you were made to sit there for an extended amount of time waiting for the chance to play again. So that, I think, is like kind of the big high point of this beta was the park. Granted, again, delay-based lobby, but once you get into the game, super fun. And I'm just curious to see how people will feel about the game once it's out. Because I think I've been seeing this on the Twitter timeline. A lot of people have been expressing that while the game is kind of fun, it does feel dry. It feels like something's missing, which is exactly what people were saying about Street Fighter V when it first came out. So it's one of those wait and see moments, and we're gonna wait and see for about 30 days. About 30 days, we'll have waited enough to see.
We did ask on Twitter for our question of the day. After playing the beta, how likely are you to buy the game on its launch? Now, obviously, the first beta was a pre-order incentive, but this one was an open beta. Anyone, whether you pre-ordered the game or not, could get in. So we asked if it made you more likely to buy the game, or more specifically, if you were planning on buying the game after playing it. 46% of people saying they're definitely buying it, and another 24% said that they were probably buying it. So 70% all told saying that, yeah, they're going to buy the game. You got to believe that's pretty good.
Yep.
Just under 12% of respondents saying that they're definitely not buying it. Are you able to pull up a couple of responses?
Yep. Look at the screen.
I was just pulling it up on Twitter. I apologize.
Oh, you don't have to. With the magic of...
I forget. We've got this technology now. Real Troll saying they already bought it. Obviously, that's going to be the case for a lot of people who played on the first beta. Snine Boys is only buying to play the story mode, which is perfectly valid. Not everyone has to be a tournament player. Do you have the one about PlayStation?
This one?
Yes. JD Byron said that they had initially ordered for both. There it is. Initially ordered for both PlayStation and PC, but canceled on PlayStation because of the lobby. Says it's not in a good enough spot lobby-wise for them to buy it on two platforms, and most of their friends are playing on PC. So yeah, it's it's costing some people. The Game Ghost said that they didn't play the beta, but they are hype as heck to get in it, to get the game. They're getting it on day 2, unless the port is broken. That's the tech.
Mm-hmm.
You avoid the pre-order. Let someone else take the fall day 1, and then is it cool? Okay, I'll you enter 15 numbers of your 16-digit credit card, and that last one. Lobbies were okay, right? All right, 7. There. And then Miles brings up a little nugget from the past. If you don't buy Marvel Infinite, you don't support fighting games. There's always this interesting sort of crossover when we talk about supporting the scene and the obligation to do so. And that goes to how passionate we are in this community. We don't just see the game as a game. We don't just see it as a product. We see it as for better or for worse, we see it as sort of an extension of the community. That's sort of the umbrella that we all come together under. So it seems like for a lot of people buying the game, it has much more meaning than just buying the game to play it. And like I said, there are things that are great about that sort of approach. There are things that I feel are problematic about that sort of approach. I try to keep in mind that my love for the community is based on the community, and it doesn't necessarily matter which buttons we're pressing together as long as we're pressing buttons.
Oh, yeah.
So whether that's a Roman cancel or a V trigger or anything like that. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's
All right, Steve,
whew.
we're at 7:30. Do you have an extra 10 minutes? Because I want to go long. Because I don't think we should pass up what we have next that we weren't able to get to in that time.
I don't necessarily think we should. I don't think I can go 10 minutes, but I do want to talk about this thing.
Let's go 5 minutes then. All right, so
All right.
Infil, for those of you that don't know that name, that is a gentleman who made the complete guide to KI. Amazing guide, had literally everything. Taught me a lot about KI. It was quite amazing. Infil, today, released what he calls the fighting game glossary, and we have it pulled up here, and I think this is an absolutely amazing website. It has every single FGC term that you could think of, and it defines it, uses it in a sentence, shows you what part of the English language it's at, if it's a noun, a pronoun, adjective. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to pull some terms that we don't think is on this website. What can we possibly think of that is an FGC term that is not on this website? Chat, I want you guys to have some input. Steve, I want you to have some input. And I have a couple on the back of my brain.
Oh, man, that's one that wouldn't be on the website.
Mm-hmm.
How memey is this?
I don't know.
Oh, Doc Fugu with the great one, Guessies.
Guessies? All right, let's go look it up. Guessy. No results.
I don't think that.
Doc Fugu got it. Guessies is not in the fighting game glossary. Woo!
You know, I know this is not going to be on here. $8.95.
$8.95?
$8.95. I'm sure there's a good chunk of our audience that has no idea what that means.
Yeah, $8.95 is not in the fighting game glossary.
Obviously, this is more towards fighting game concepts and stuff that is actually about fighting games and not just the memes that surround it. But tools like this are amazing. I
have one. Do you think they'll have a hood perfect in here?
Ooh. Look up perfect and see, because you can do partial terms. We'll
hood perfect is on here. Holy So for those of you that don't know, a hood perfect is when you take chip damage, but you don't take any other type of damage, so it doesn't give you the perfect in the game, but it's a perfect.
They threw a fireball that you had to block. It wasn't gonna hit.
Luigi.
They knew you were going to win. They knew that it wasn't gonna hit. They knew that you knew it wasn't gonna hit. But you just didn't want to get perfected. So that's all that was.
Yeah, looks like Double Luigi is not on there, and I think that's kind of a crime, to be honest. Double Luigi, I think, is such a hilarious piece of FGC lore. And for those of you that don't know, Double Luigi is, I think it was popularly used in Tekken, and it was a Japanese commentator that said Double Richi, which is a term in Mahjong when you have two players who have one card to go. It's called Double Richi. And this commentator started saying Double Richi for when players had one round left to win. Both players had one round left to win. Now, the hilarity of this comes when somebody in the US heard them say Double Richi, thought they said Double Luigi, and noticed they were saying it in the final round, so it just became popularized that people started saying Double Luigi when you had one round left in Tekken. Blue wants Cali Burst. Let's see if they got Cali Burst. Whee. Cali Burst is not on here either. Dang.
Try it as 2 words.
2 words? Now, something else that's really cool about... Whoops, I wrote about... Yeah, no calibers. Sad times. But something that's really cool about this website too is not only is this a full encyclopedia for FGC terms, it's also translated. So our friend of the show, High Fight, and Fubar Duck, search for Chicago. Okay. There's the Chicago Punish. All right, what is this? Hold on. The Chicago Punish is correctly blocking every unsafe move from your opponent, like a Dragon Punch, and then punishing it with an extremely low damage, weak offensive move, usually like a throw. I've been heard this called a Portland Punish as well. But yeah, so you can have a lot of fun. But what I was saying is, it's also in Japanese. So if you type something like nage, I've heard Eris say this a bunch of times, and it's about throws. And you have the Japanese translation here at the bottom, and it was High Fight with suggestions from Fubar Duck, doing all these. So please go check out this website. It's glossary.infil.net. And if you like their stuff as much as I do, and where you can just go look Nooch, let's take a look at Nooch. Is that how it's spelled? There it is, neutral. It knows. Domi Burst. Domi Burst is gonna be the last one. I know what a Domi Burst is. It doesn't have it. That's all right. Abare.
You try spelling burst correctly.
Did I not spell burst correctly?
It looked like it looked like you had B and then space URST.
There. Yeah, still nothing.
I'm
However,
sorry.
Whoops.
I apologize.
Whoops. Go forward. All right. And it even has like a term of the day. And today's is Electric Wind Godfist. But yeah, if you like this as much as I do and think this is an amazing project as much as I do, when you go to the website, there's a little donate button there. And you can either buy Infil some coffee or donate directly to their PayPal. Please go support this person because this is an unbelievable piece of FGC that is now all in one place. And if I had this when I was trying to get into the FGC, I feel like I would be twice the fighting game person I am today. So big ups to them. They even have stats and updates. There's the credit page. Even has a link to the KI guide. You can contact them. Please go check this website out. This is one of the most amazing things I've seen in a hot minute. So go support Infil and the FGC Encyclopedia, if you would be so kind. Steve, I think we're done, right?
We're definitely done. Dinner is waiting for me, so I gotta go.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and sign off then. So, for everybody that was here today, thank you for joining us.
And for Sharpie, who was yeah. So I get number 2 on Monday.
Oh, congratulations! It's number 2 kicked my ass. So get ready.
I'm off that day and the next day, just in case.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
All right. For myself, I have been Elon. This is my Twitter info. This, the main squeeze. The enigmatic Steve Ace King Offsuit Jurek. There's his Twitter tag right there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. Can't wait to see you guys next week where we talk about more shenanigans and more FGC things. Say your thing, Steve.
Good night, Canada.
Goodbye.